This is Stars and Scopes with your friend Uma, updated every new and full moon with guidance based on planetary transits in the current sky and extra support from tarot. For accuracy, take a look at your rising sign first if you know it, and do feel free to listen to your sun, moon and rising if you'd like the full picture. If you're interested in your birth chart, check out the readings page at umaruby.com. And if you'd like to support the work, head over to buymeacoffee.com/umaruby and you can buy me a coffee. Finally, if you're a visual learner, look up Uma Ruby Tarot on YouTube and you can watch and learn. Okay, let's take a look. Hello Scorpio and Scorpio rising, welcome to your horoscope for the new moon in Leo happening on July the 29th at 3:54 AM if you're in the southern hemisphere with me. This is a clearing, Scorpio. This is a moment of beautiful reprieve and of the potential to cast some spells and to make some wishes and to call in some lovely, fresh, new, prideful energy. Leo energy is essential for all of us. We need to be proud of ourselves and we need to feel the warmth of the light and to revel in that. It's difficult sometimes in lower vibration when met with someone working from their ego. You can see it, you can name it sometimes. This is friction. But ego isn't a dirty word, and I think that Leo really is testament to that idea. When we think of a Leo soul, we think of somebody who is leading directly from their heart and from their vibrancy. The sun rules Leo, and the sun in astrology represents our ego. So there's lessons here. I say all of this because Leo rules your 10th house of your career and public perception. So it's almost like your most public face, your public self. There's something attached to it's not as simple as work, but it's your vocation. It's kind of what you've set yourself up to be here for, Scorpio. So, and how others perceive you. So that sense of brightness and pride and confidence is potentially something that that's been commented of in terms of the way that you generate and the way that you activate public spaces. So this new moon is the moment, if that's been out of alignment, if that's been something that's been difficult for you to conceive or difficult for you to kind of really align with and to recognize, then this new moon would be the perfect time to reacquaint yourself with that pride child, to really get back in the saddle and to look at yourself from the outside in. Maybe it might be a nice time to gain some perspective and it's how we're perceived is gentle and sticky and also means as much as it doesn't. You know, it doesn't really matter what other people think of you, of course. It matters how you project and what you wish to how emblematic your presence is. You know, I think in some ways, if we think about our public perception or our career, our life's work, what are we hoping to instill in the youth, into other people? It's very important to think about children. When we think about Leo, they've got there's a great relationship between the essence of the younger self and the pride of the lion. So think about that as far as your public perception. We're doing it for the kids, right? So what are you doing for the kids and how can that be reactivated? And what do you wish to achieve as we journey around again? New moons are always a great time of sort of blank page energy. You can start afresh. If things have been sticky or if things haven't been resonating or if things have been uncomfortable, it's a great moment to call it and to actively wish for what it is that you want. So that's the moon, and there is, I'll tell you about the tarot card first real quick. So at 5 degrees, of Leo is where this lunation is happening. The sun and the moon in an exact conjunction, forming that new moon. And the tarot card is the Five of Wands. I won't go into it too much, but there's lots of fives going on here, which does, in numerology, it does, it's change that the fives represent. I don't know much about, I'm learning gently. It's not something that I specialize in, but there's a lot to be said for recurring numbers, and there's a lot to be said for the symbolism of numbers rather than just simple counting. You know, five is change. In the tarot, all of the five cards they're emblematic of change. The Five of Wands is a test of will in a lot of ways. The Five of Wands talks about five different or opposing, disparate passions with different personalities. So maybe there's something in the public space or in your career or public perception that there's other people that have a stake in that, and you're needing to re-establish your expertise or your skin in the game. Maybe that's a good phrase for it. But that's that's maybe an energy that we can gently sort of work with as we manifest. But I did want to talk about a separate aspect, a separate conjunction that's happening just a couple of days after this moon. So on the 31st of July, 1st of August, around that time, we'll be experiencing a triple conjunction in Taurus that has not happened in 2,500 years. One way to read astrology and to look at a transit as it approaches is to look back at the last time that this happened, and then that's one way that some astrologers will look at prediction and sort of think, okay, well, this happened then. What can we look forward to, or what can we expect? What can we prepare ourselves for as it happens again? So 2,500 years ago was the era of Alexander the Great. So it's a long time ago. And for the greater group, if we're using the natural zodiac, Taurus rules the second house, which is our talents and our self-worth and our access to material safety and comfort. So in that way, there might be things kind of starting to bubble up. The conjunctions between the North Node, which is the point where the moon intercepts the sun's ecliptic around the Earth's ellipsis around the sun. So it's that point where we get eclipses. So Taurus and Scorpio have been feeling this shedding anyway since November. This is an extra layer on that. So this is a conjunction between Uranus, who is the planet of revolution, and Mars, the planet of war, of activation, of starting the fire in a lot of ways, of charging ahead, of the battle. So there is, and it's happening with many different formalized systems that we've been working with. Things have been sort of either showing their cracks or sort of falling away. Governments have been sort of upturned, and all of these things are sort of happening around us, and our consciousness is sort of maybe waking up to different ways that we can earn money and what we actually are worth, as opposed to what we've been taught we're worth. That's on the greater collective. In your individual experience, Scorpio, it's happening in your 7th house, which is your most intimate relationships, your lovers, your soul contracts, your VIPs of life. So there's something here that, and this could be, and it might pass you by, but I would be mentioning it just to, because if we're going to be manifesting our public face, our vocation, our career, our life's work, if we're going to be using that pride, it would be really important to sort of carry some of that through as we experience this conjunction, because I don't wish for there to be any battles for you that you can't engage in if you're feeling a lack of self-confidence. It's very important to continue riding on the back of that lion for the next bit of time, Scorp, because when it comes to these intimate relationships, and this could be to do with your lover or the people that you feel are part of your, your soul family in a lot of ways, your nearest and dearest. There may be some revolution happening there. There may be a changing of the guard in a lot of ways. There could be a switch that's taking up. There could, we never use astrology as something to fear. We use it to work with and to make our experience, to make the best benefit of our time here. We can find the patterns with the planets and with our own experience. So if things are tricky at home, if things are tricky in that relationship space, then remember that your ability to move through this difficulty is to hold on to that lion and to remember that ego is not a dirty word and that you are entitled to have one, and that whether you like it or not, public perception, public assessment is that you shine very bright, Scorpio. And that's something to be really celebrated. So take that with you as we journey with this 7th house kerosene leak that's coming up. I just wanted to quickly say something about prescriptive astrology. I've spoken to quite a few different people, and as I can't help it. I'm just learning things, and they're sticking, and I get it, and it's helped me a lot through some rather dark moments over the past few years, and I use it to hopefully open the door for other people to find that same recognition and understanding and satisfaction with their moment. If we can zoom out and make it less here and have it here, then we feel less alone and we feel a part of something that's moving and shifting with us rather than around us. So that's why we go and talk about astrology, but that idea of it being prescriptive is that we're not doomed to suffer anything that is showing up in a chart or anything that is being predicted. So I say that because if your loving relationships are harmonious at present, then go with that energy. It may not show up, show itself in that way. I say this and I bring it up because if it is difficult for you at the moment in that part of your life, then hopefully this reading, this sense of understanding, will give yourself a moment to get off your own back and to not feel defeat or failure. The Leo moon is here to remind us of our pride and our power and our place at the table. Yeah, I just thought that I needed to say that. So I'm going to pull you some very quick intuitive tarot, just as a little farewell. But Spirit, I need 3 cards for Scorpio, please, as they manifest, as they work with this lovely moon that's coming up in Leo. What final message can I send them off with? Okay, 2 cards. I've got the 6 of Wands, Temperance, and the Wheel of Fortune. Beautiful. Yeah. Use this new moon as the beginning of a brand new cycle. Use this as the jettison point, the jumping off point into something brave and fresh and new. You're going to balance the passion that Leo can bring about, the fire, that really fast moving, quick, intense energy. You're going to balance that with water because you're a Scorpio and you're perfect at that. You're going to work with the tides, roll with the tides of your emotional body, and you're going to find the balance, and you're going to give everything its proper attention to. If things are feeling quite emotionally turbulent for you at present, Scorpio, then take this moment to feel it. If we continue to push things down that are uncomfortable, they don't disappear, they don't dissipate, they wait. And sometimes they can explode. you know, which is maybe one way to look at this Mars and Uranus conjunction with the North Node. We're focusing in on the potential of a combustion fire. So don't allow that in your own sense of self and your own reality. Everything that comes up, and you know, I tell you what, like, compartmentalization is a survival technique. I get that. Some things you can't look at straight away because the environment it's not safe to. So we do need to put things on reserve, put things on ice, and then look at them later. But that's the thing, we need to look at them later. There's going to be a real moment of celebration for you in that way of managing and balancing that fire, that passion. Maybe this could potentially be in the face of perhaps a rupture or some aggression or something like that. So if that happens, remember to balance these two things out. And remember that you don't have to suck anything down. If it needs to come out, temper it. Fire and water, that's a beautiful alchemy there. And that respects both. You know, it's not about one or the other. It's about both, and allowing both room to express themselves. Okay, that's your reading, Scorpio. The sand's all gone. Much love to you. If you'd like to give me a tip, you can head over to buymeacoffee.com/Uma Ruby. Tips are always received with gratitude. Or you can head to umaruby.com for a personalised birth chart reading. I've got a list of different journeys that I've been working on and experimenting with, and if there was a specific part of your chart you'd like to look at, or a specific element that you'd like to focus on in your own experience, then we can do that. You can have a look at the list over at the readings page, and it will further explain the kind of work and the sort of alchemy between astrology and the tarot that I've been developing and seeing some great results with. So yeah, do check it out if you'd like to. You can also send me a little message there. There's a connect button too if you just wanted to send me some well wishes. They're always very well received as well. Until I speak to you in 2 weeks for the full moon in Aquarius, much love to you, Scorpio. Do take care, and I'll see you then. Bye.